Hello mga moms! Ako'y nagbabalik. Ako po si Teacher Sysa at ngayon ay nagkaroon ako ng pagkakataon na makagawa ng content dahil na rin sa mga request ng ating mga subscribers, especially those teachers who are in the Philippines and who's planning to apply here in the United States. And they've been asking me to create a content about special education, specifically about IEP or Individualized Education Plan. So bago ang lahat, ano nga ba ang IEP or Individualized Education Plan or Program? An IEP or an Individualized Education Plan or Program is developed for those students who are identified to have specific learning needs or disabilities. This plan or program is created in order for us to ensure that the necessary or specific instruction and related services are given to those students in order to cater for their needs. An IEP is developed by a team which is composed of the special education teacher, the general education teacher. We also have the LEA or the so-called local education agency, the parents or guardian of the student. We also have individuals from various educational disciplines such as the speech pathologists, the psychologists. We also have the school nurse. We have the occupational therapist and even the family advocate or the child's advocate. The ways on how to write an IEP differs from state to state. So it really depends on where you're currently at. But the main purpose is the same, and that is to ensure that we are meeting the needs of the student and we're providing the appropriate or necessary specific instruction and the related services he or she needs. Here in Nevada, where I'm currently teaching, the components of the IEP are as follows. First, we have the so-called education plan page. It includes the date of when the annual IEP will take place. It also includes the date of the last IEP meeting. Also, it includes the anticipated duration of services and the eligibility date for this specific plan. The second part of an IEP is the student demographics. It includes important details about the child, such as their name, their date of birth, their age, what specific learning category they belong to, their address, parent informations. The third component of the IEP is the attendance page. Who are the members of the team who will attend the IEP meeting? Next part is the procedural rights and safeguards. Procedural safeguards is very important to be read during the meeting because it includes the right of the parents to receive prior notices before the meeting. They also have the right to receive a draft of the IEP. They have the right to attend all the educational meetings. They have the right to give consent before a student is allowed to take necessary assessments or tests. They have the right to agree or disagree with the components of the IEP as it stands, and they have the right to due process. The procedural safeguards is delivered by the LEA or the local education agency representative during the meeting. The LEA will make sure that the components of the IEP is correct, including the SDI minutes or the specially designed instruction minutes, and the accommodations that are provided are suited to the needs of the student. The next component of the IEP is the PLOF or the present levels of academic achievement and functional performance of the child. These tells us what the child can and cannot do. It includes a report from the multidisciplinary team done by the school psychologist to identify the deficit areas of this child. It also includes a report of what he or he cannot do academically for reading, written expression, math, social, emotional, and functional skills, medical or health reports. It also includes a report from the occupational therapies or speech pathologies when needed, and also a parent interview report. We use both formal and informal testings or assessment in order for us to identify the present levels of academic and functional performance of the child, such as teacher observation or input. We also have the formal testings wherein we use standardized base tests, such as the KTA or the Kaufman test for educational achievement, which measures the reading, written language, written expression, math performances of the child. In the IEP, we also include the student's strength, preferences, and interests, and we also ask for parents' concerns just so we know what we're going to be working on or focusing for that specific plan. Aside from that, we have the so-called consideration of special factors. This includes statement of whether or not the student's behavior impede the learning of others. Does the student require assistive technology devices? Does the student have limited English proficiency? Is the student deaf or hard of hearing? Specific learning needs or dyslexia? And then after that, one of the most important component of the IEP is for us to propose a goal. So we need to make a SMART goal. It should be a specific, measurable, attainable, result-oriented, and time-bound goal. So we provide an annual and benchmarks for that annual goals. Also, we indicate who will implement those goals and what is the setting or where are those goals be implemented. The next component of the IEP is the so-called specially designed instruction. It indicates what are the academic areas or the services that we're providing for the student, the duration, the location of services. The next component of the IEP is the supplementary aids and services. It includes the accommodations, modifications, or support that we're going to provide that student in order for him to reach his goal. For example, in reading. So in order for us to help him with regards to completing reading and writing assignments, we provide sentence starters, sentence frames. We have the graphic organizers, sight words, etc. Okay, for math, we provide calculator, multiplication chart, if necessary. And as an accommodation during testing, we either allow them to use text-to-speech or speech-to-text, or even allow them to be in a small group during testing. So those are the accommodations and modifications that we can provide a child. Also, we have related services that we can provide a child. For example, minutes for occupational therapy, or at least speech therapy if it needs to. Then we have the second to the last part of the components of the IEP, which is the placement consideration. So we specify whether this kid should be in a general education setting or he or she should be in a combination of a resource class and a gen ed class. It's like a pull out. Or he should be in a self-contained class, just like in autism classes or in SLD classes. And we have to make justification on why we place them in those environments. Last but not the least is the IEP implementation. Now the team will decide whether we agree with all the components of the IEP as it stands, or there are some questions, clarifications, or other concerns before we finalize the IEP. And that's it for today's video. I hope you learned a lot from me today. And if you like this video, don't forget to click the like button, hit subscribe, and click the notification bell below for more updates. Hope to see you on my next vlog.